Welcome everyone to the latest edition of Wallet Talks podcast. We are here in Atlanta in our own studio, aka our home. When I say we, it's because I'm talking with, on this episode, my wife, Tiffany Alexander, because this is a special episode that we're going to have a unique conversation. Never before have we done this. And I'm excited about it because we are going to talk about an experience we recently just had, like really fresh, and we haven't heard this from each other. So you guys are going to hear in real time my reactions and her reactions to our perspective or experiences about what we just experienced this past couple days or so. So I am your host, Jason Alexander. I am joined by my wife, Tiffany Alexander. How you doing, Tiffany?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, sweetheart? Yes. So, I'm going to set this up for the folks. We recently celebrated 10 years of marriage. Yay! There's a clap. I don't have a clap machine, but it's a clap machine going. Just think about it. Yeah! And I'll just, okay.
Okay.
All right. So, wow. Does it feel like 10 years married to Jason?
No, it actually seems a little longer now. I don't know why, because I've always said that it's felt shorter, but all of a sudden it just seems long.
And she says this, like, rolling her eyes a little bit at me. What? I can't believe.
I've been with you for a long time.
Okay, overall it's been, what, 11 years?
Overall?
Maybe
Is this from
12.
the time we met?
No, I'm talking about, like, dated and...
Yes, it's been 12 years.
12 years. Okay.
It could have been 14 if you moved a little faster.
That's another podcast.
Yep.
Another podcast. Don't worry about those 2 years of delayed. It was God pasting everybody. That's what it was. We had our sights set on other things. Anyway, I think that our 10-year anniversary, I don't think it's really 10 years. I think it's like still feels like yesterday that we got married. Maybe I can feel that there's some time has passed, but I really honestly feel like maybe 2 or 3 years. I don't feel like 10. Like, I just don't. Maybe like a 10-year-old, they don't remember their first 4 or 5 years of being a kid. Even though they're 10, I kind of feel like that. I remember the first 5 years and 10 years, but I don't feel the first 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we, to celebrate, had to make a decision on what we're going to do to celebrate. Like, what would you guys think about doing for your 10-year anniversary? Tiffany, what did you think of initially on how we was going to celebrate our 10-year anniversary?
I wanted to do a renewal ceremony, which I still kind of want to do.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen, especially with the pandemic being what it is right now.
That's true.
Although it's calming down now, I do still want to have something this year, something intimate with a few family members and friends.
Some family members?
And friends. Yes.
We can do that. Yeah, but all right. So for me, I knew that for our anniversary, it had to be something memorable. I knew that it had to be something romantic, of course, because it's 10 years. And because of the pandemic, of course, safe. But also, I wasn't really concerned about money.
Okay.
I knew it was going to cost more than our normal trips.
Yeah.
So I was prepared for. I wasn't going to have the sticker shock. I knew it was going to be expensive. But I wanted the best bang for my buck.
But you've also been working extra hard lately, and I think you wanted that relief as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So at that point, once you hit that point, you were just like, look, I'm just going to go all out. And you also just celebrated a milestone birthday.
You know how to go into all that.
I didn't say an age. I could have said an age.
You wanted to.
No, I'm going to protect your privacy.
Okay.
But for all the other people that know, maybe they'll shout you out. But yeah, milestone birthday, that was 3 weeks before our anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we didn't think about that when we got married. Like, it was a milestone birthday when we got married too, for you. And we didn't think about the expense. Yeah, we didn't think about the expense. So, like, every 10 years, it's going to be
a big thing.
A big expense for us.
A big week.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks, or big month, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something we have 10 years to prepare for.
So next 10 years, we got to think about it in a big way. So let's get down and tell the folks how we came to decide on what we decided on, because it's kind of leave them in suspense on what we did. But before we tell them what we did, let's tell them what our options were.
Our options were to do nothing.
That was an option.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Because I could have did that.
I know you could have. Do nothing. We could do something locally,
mm-hmm.
as we most often do for our anniversary. We could do something just within our state,
mm-hmm.
or we could do something international. Or a combination of them. Or we could have done a renewal ceremony. But you weren't really feeling the renewal thing.
I was.
No, you weren't.
I was.
No, you weren't.
I didn't make it as a make or break thing.
Because even when we were going to consider adding it to our vacation
packet,
yeah, you weren't really gung-ho about it.
Yeah, because it's either it's going to be or not be. It wasn't going to be a deal breaker.
Okay.
But it sounds like it was a deal breaker for you.
It was upsetting that I wasn't able to incorporate it into our vacation when the advertisement for what we decided to do said that it was something I could have added on.
Yeah.
But once I realized it was more of a grand production than I thought, I was like, okay, well, I would have wanted family members and friends to be part of it. But I thought it was just going to be a small little ceremony.
All right. Well, you wanted to, well, so maybe next time we'll see if we can get, well, not next time, but in the next couple months, we can see if we can get that wedding renewal element.
Vow renewal.
I'm sorry. Vow renewal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get that itch out.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like, I don't know if it's necessarily to renew my vows because I've said them.
Yeah.
So I think
you're still here. So
yeah, still here. But I'll be honest, like, a good bit of it is because it kind of seems like a good thing to do for 10 years, but also because I want to wear another dress.
Oh my goodness!
Like, I liked my dress from our wedding, but I don't know that I loved it as much as I could have loved it, and so I've always had like this regret a little bit that, man, I can get another dress, but I hear that you only wear a white dress once. So I don't know if it would be a white dress, but then again, I know somebody who had a whole new like wedding ceremony and wore a white dress, and they were married some decades. So I guess at the end of the day, it's down to what we want it to be. But I would love that opportunity to do that, and I just think it would be nice and intimate and a great way to celebrate with our family and friends.
All right.
Outside of the dress situation.
I mean, I'm sorry. All I heard was another to-do list for me. That's what I heard.
How is it a to-do list for you when I'm the one getting the dress?
No, the whole production, getting all coordinated and stuff like that.
No, just be little. It'll just be little.
Do y'all hear this?
Now
those who are family will listen.
No, those who are on your side of the family, that's the part that you would have to work on because you have more people on your family. When we got married, it was hard for us to scale down this list because Jason has so many people that love him, obviously. And so it should be interesting coming up with this list.
No, I mean, yeah, it'll be.
So that's more of the work to me is
And who's doing that work?
Both of us.
Okay. Y'all heard it here. Both of us.
But again, it would be very intimate. It wouldn't even be big for me. I don't want anything big.
All right. So the vow renewal.
Yeah, like people who have been like constantly part of our lives since we got married, especially.
We go. I mean, it's going to happen in the year 2022. That's all I can say.
Okay.
I don't know when, but it's on the to-do list now.
Great. I can start planning.
Yeah, I don't know how. I think you used this episode to sabotage me to do that because this was not what we were going to talk about.
You said what were the options, so I gave
right.
you
I know,
the options.
but it was a small element to the conversation, and you went down a rabbit hole, and now you pinned me down to do. Y'all heard this? It was like a setup. All you men.
Look, I can't force you to do anything that you don't want to do. If you don't want to do a vow renewal ceremony, then we ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna have half participation, half engagement. What say I do to myself?
What I'm gonna say no now, and I put it on the airwaves.
You can cut this part out.
I cut no.
Anyways, let's transition. So those are the options for the cruise. Do you have any other options that you?
The options to choose.
Yeah, to choose to go on a vacation. Did you have any others besides the ones I listed?
No. I think that the option to go away internationally, stay local, or go in-state and things like that, I think they were all on that table. But we did something bad where we didn't really plan like 6 months in ahead. We pretty much started in January planning.
It wasn't bad in the sense like we had to scrounge together or anything. Like it was something we always had in the back of our head. We just didn't know what we were going to do because of the pandemic, and we also just didn't know what we really wanted. And what it came down to was, as Jason's milestone birthday approached, I was in a quandary of sorts as to like what are we going to do for his birthday and do for our 10-year anniversary. And I just decided to let him choose what he wanted to do with his birthday. I planned something small for him early in the day, but after that he decided to do something else. And I just went ahead and said to him like, hey, this is what we have for your birthday, but what do you want to do for our anniversary? And I kind of put it in your court because I felt like you weren't able to get the big milestone birthday party that I wanted to throw for you because of the pandemic. And it also was hard to narrow down that list as well. But I just decided to kind of say, what do you want? And he came with a cruise.
I chose a cruise. I think God set us up. I really do. Because my sister and her husband had just came back from a cruise, and somebody else that I knew had just came back from a cruise, and they were telling us about it, and I was looking into it, and I was like, a cruise? This time last year or before the pandemic, when I heard about a cruise, I was kind of skeptical, like, I don't want to be on the ocean like that, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm black, I can swim, but black folks really don't swim. Mm-hmm. I can swim. I may not be an Olympian.
I have video that proves otherwise.
That was in the ocean. I can swim in the pool. Swimming in the ocean is a whole different.
If you know how to swim, you know how to swim.
No,
Jason.
no.
It was no rip current.
What you get in? Once you get in there,
I knew better.
Okay, well, I'll get into it later. All right, so, a long story short is, I knew I had to do something to make up for lost time because I had promised Tiffany that we were going to go on vacation and it was going to be like a big vacation because up to these 10 years, we really went on one like good vacation that was a long extended period of time, not just a weekend excursion. And that was our honeymoon. And she had been itching and has all this pent up expectation that she had about her anniversary trip or just having a vacation, period.
Yeah, it was supposed to be after our debt-free.
Right, we're supposed to have a debt-free.
Like 20.
That was 2018.
Totally different. No, that was 2018 was the rental property. 2016 was the consumer.
Oh,
So it was supposed to be shortly after 2016, and life did what it did, and we didn't prioritize it. And then Jason came up with a grand idea.
The money that we saved, to use the money that we saved towards the down payment of a house.
Yeah, so vacation fund went bye-bye.
So I knew I had to do something, so I took on a second gig to get more money to save up doing. Well, a gig came up because I'm a contractor, and I was like, oh, I can use this. I can use this extra. This is why I say God set us up. Because I can use this extra to save up for the vacation. I know I'm going to need about a good chunk because it's not going to be a weekend excursion. So all that to say, when the ball was put in my hands to decide where we're going to go, one, I was looking for something that had extended duration, more than just 3 days. 2, that was still going to be economical. And 3, that will give her all the variation or variety that she likes. For those of you who know Tiffany, she does not like doing the same thing too many times often.
Correct.
So I was thinking like, okay, I looked at destinations. I looked at like going to Lake Oconee here in Georgia, or one of those, what is that? A tower. That's not a tower. I'm sorry, like Eiffel Tower, but it was Chateau Elan.
Yes.
Looked into going to there, but I was like, man, just a weekend. Those things are expensive for 3 days. But yeah. I was like, we need to go longer.
But you were actually thinking about doing that for your birthday.
No, I was thinking about that for the anniversary as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. So when I heard from my sister and some other friends that cruise, I was like, you know what? We may need to just do that. So we looked at Costco from all places. We've been like scouring their travel magazine we've been collecting them
and then throwing away because the time had passed
years.
For this.
So when we finally looked in and we kind of took the plunge and did some more investigation, I was like, you know what? This is it. This is what we need to do. It's going to be economical. We're going to get something that's all inclusive. And that's the problem with some of those destinations. It was like not all inclusive. Like the whole, just the lodging was expensive. It was taking up like a third of our budget or half of our budget. So long story, huh?
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, long story short, I chose a cruise, 7-day cruise. It was, can I say the name of the place? No.
Just say cruise.
It was a 7-day cruise in the Eastern Caribbean.
Yeah.
And it had 4 stops, and it was exciting. I thought it was a good opportunity for her to taste different cuisines, see different places. She wasn't gonna get bored. So I thought I did a good job going into it.
Well, let's back up a little bit because it just makes it seem like it was your decision. It was your decision to decide what we did, but we also talked prior to that, as we went through the Costco catalog, we looked at destination places as well, but they weren't available in the time frame that we wanted.
You are correct. That was one of the things.
So one
destination didn't have the time frame.
Yeah, didn't have the time frame, and we would have done that destination place over this one if it was available in our time frame.
Yeah, and I still would have chose this one.
Well, I'll put it like this: I wasn't necessarily gung-ho about the cruise. The only reason
you sure wasn't.
The only reason I decided to go along with it is because, like I said, that was kind of like part of my gift to him was like, okay, you get to choose. So I guess maybe every 10 years you get to choose where we go for our anniversary, and I'll just go along with it. But people had always been saying, go to a cruise. It's great. The food is good. You get to relax and all this other stuff, explore. And I was like, I never was really interested. First of all, I'd never been on a cruise. Didn't want to deal with motion sickness or anything like that. So when he said he wanted to go, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going. It's going to be a new experience, and everybody's gives it rave reviews. So.
But people, you got to understand something. She also wants to go on a river cruise.
Yeah, so the reason I was going to go to the river cruise is I thought it was going to be a more mature audience, smaller boat,
So much
which
judgment.
to me reduces the COVID risk
Ah.
and also increases my likelihood of some silence, like I just did there. I like quiet. And then also, at least I can see some land as I'm traveling. And it wouldn't just be water. So we looked at those two, and it ended up being like really pricey.
Yeah, and the timing wasn't.
Yeah.
Because we definitely wanted to be on somewhere that had our anniversary date.
And Jason wanted activity. So he's more of an adventurous person. I'm just chill, like, just as long as you have good food, I'm good. So I knew that food was going to be included. That was the main thing that made me happy. And I like water. I like to see water. So I figured that was a good balance between us two. So I thought it was just a perfect balance for both of us.
Yeah, so now we decided to go on a cruise. What was your experience? What was your overall experience? Like how tell me about what it felt being on the cruise, right? For 7 days. How did it feel from like atmospheric point of view? Also from like how did you go about spending money and how did that feel about it? And overall, would you do it again?
Well, first I'll say it wasn't just the cruise. We flew into Miami, and with Miami, ever since Jason and I have been together, he's kind of hinted at like, oh, I can take you to Miami and let you see it, because he used to have to travel there sometimes for work. And so I kind of feel like this was like a 2-in-1 type of vacation. So we flew into Miami 2 days before our cruise. Nice hotel, loud, but it was like nice visually. It was in the nicer part.
It was a really nice hotel
of Miami. Yeah,
it was
really
a really nice Miami. You was like, "Hey, man, what you say when you got pulled
don't put
up?"
Me on. Yeah.
Yes, she was like, "Oh, me, Miami, my
yeah." My whole party vibe voice came out.
Kicked in immediately once she got off. Once the
I just picked up on the
vibe.
You know, when in Rome, do like the Romans do. So when I'm in Miami,
she got it.
Like
she was like, "Hey."
Yeah, so
because it was on the river. It was right on the river. Shout out to Costco because that's who we use as our trailer. It was right on the river. The hotel was on the river.
That's the Miami. River, or that wasn't the ocean?
I don't know. It's not the ocean. It's a.
How could it not be the ocean when the cruise port was within eye distance?
The ocean. It's in between. If you had two blends of water, two pieces
Lord,
of land.
Now he's giving me geography lessons. Okay.
It was a waterway.
It was a body of water.
It was a waterway.
Waterway.
A waterway.
A water channel, maybe?
A channel, whatever.
Okay. Anyways, it was great going into Miami. I really loved that part of Miami off of Biscayne Boulevard. That's just a beautiful area. So the other places we went were the Bahamas.
Nassau, Bahamas.
That was a cold and windy day.
That was cold and windy.
Actually, the first 1 to 3 days of our cruise was cold and windy and rocky, like to the point that you would be walking and you would like stumble. Your feet would stumble.
Which was, they said, was not normal.
It was not normal. Like the crew members said it, and
like
previous cruisers, they were like, yeah, this never happens. Like the cold, windy, and the rocky.
Yeah, very experienced cruisers was like, yeah, this is not normal.
So the first day I started off eating crackers,
you got
baked potatoes.
Sickness.
Yeah, I even had the patch on, but I still got motion sickness. And part of it was psyche, because it was like, am I the only one feeling this? And then people started talking about it, and then this other lady was having a hard time. And we both took the same nausea stuff, and we both were struggling. But once I got like that ginger ale in me, oh my gosh, Seagrams. I usually don't name
Shout out to Seagrams.
But Seagrams, y'all saved my life on that cruise. I had y'all a few times. And once I got that Seagrams in me and that basic food like bread and baked potatoes, I was set. I had some episodes here and there, but I just popped in, some nausea medicine, and I was good. So the first, like I said, for the first 1 to 3 days was not ideal.
No, it
And
was not. It was definitely a lot of rockiness, and we were just trying to adjust to
mm-hmm.
living. Like, first of all, we should describe our room. Our room felt like a little cave.
To him.
It was so small.
For me, it was fine.
It was so small.
He wanted
I'm not
something
doing that
bigger, but
again.
we were told to get an interior because it was our first cruise and it would minimize the effects of nausea.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. But we realized shortly once we got on the boat, we probably would have been okay with the other rooms. And so next time we'll do that. But overall experience outside of those 1 to 3 days, the food, it started off kind of bad because we were going to the wrong place. We were going to like the little buffet section. And we were like, what is this? And then we were like, Jason was like, actually, like, didn't our friends say that they had some good food? I was like, yeah. And then I realized, like, we've been going to the wrong place. We weren't going to main dining. We were going to the buffet place. Yeah, we flipped that over quick. We were like, we're not going there. And then we started having really good food. So aside from that, the scenery was beautiful. We were able to see a sunrise, a sunset. We were able to see us cruising throughout the night, cruising throughout the day. It was overall good time. The cruise line we had was very clean. They had sanitation sections, so hand sanitizer stations. When you went to the dining hall, they made you wash your hands.
Oh man, you gotta tell them about the lady, the buffet lady.
One of the food attendants actually had a saying that was so hilarious. I'll start first with saying I was walking near the buffet area and right outside the buffet area, and this guy is walking with his little son. He's like, watch this. And he goes by the food attendant. He says, washi, washi, washi. And she goes, washi, washi, washi. And it was funny because that's what she says to everybody when they come in, washi, washi, washi.
Welcome, washi, washi. Welcome, washi.
Anyways, yeah, so the washi washi was very hilarious. And I hadn't picked up on it, but when he said it, I was like, that's pretty funny. And outside of the wash stations and the sanitizer stations, no one wore a mask. But Jason and Tiffany, yeah, we don't even play.
Yeah, we wore masks.
Yeah, we were vaccinated. I think most people were vaccinated. I think the children were the only ones that were allowed to be unvaccinated. I think
there was only people who were allowed to be unvaccinated.
I think, unless they had to, I don't know. I can't remember. I'm sure they have some exceptions.
Everyone had to submit a negative COVID test.
Negative COVID test within 2 days.
Be fully vaccinated.
Yes, I believe that last part, fully vaccinated, was required. So, I felt pretty safe in a sense, knowing those things, but I still wore a mask because I don't have time to play with people. There was too many people on that cruise line, and so we wore a mask indoors unless we were eating, and even then, once we finished eating, we would put it right back on. And we were the oddballs. There was only a few other people that we saw wearing it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
So what was your experience going to the islands?
The islands, the Bahamas was cold and windy, as I mentioned before. And it was nice to see some of the scenes there and try some conch fritters and
conch.
Whatever.
It's called conch.
I'm sorry, I need to say it appropriately. Give respect. Okay, conch fritters that I had to throw away after one bite because the cruise line would not let us back in.
Because you were late getting back.
No, they wouldn't let me in with the food.
Right, but we got the food late.
Yeah, but anyways, we're not going to get into why we were quote unquote late. We were on time, if you ask me. And when we went to Virgin Islands, that was okay. That was nice scenery.
St. Thomas. Can't say Virgin Island.
Why?
It's the island. It's called St. Thomas.
But it's the U.S. Virgin Islands.
St. Thomas. It's like Chicago, Illinois. Illinois is a state. The Virgin Islands is a state. The city is St. Thomas.
Okay.
Nassau is a city.
But I
in the
never
Bahamas.
mentioned Nassau. I only mentioned Bahamas.
I said Nassau.
Okay, that's you. You asked me a question.
Y'all hear this?
So I'm going based off of not the city. I'm not going based off of the city. I'm just saying where we went. Bahamas, Virgin Islands.
But you gotta give some perspective.
Oh my goodness!
Can't say I went to Kansas.
Then you just say it. Then
I went to. Well, I guess you said I went to California.
U.S. Virgin Islands. You act like it's this huge place to have to define like that.
Well, I wanted to give.
Okay, you want to give respect. Okay,
St.
Went to Nassau, Bahamas,
and
St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite places. The culture was beautiful.
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
The culture was beautiful.
Okay.
I like the architecture, the food, just the overall vibe. I liked it. And then we went to an island in Haiti called Labadie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was nice too. I canceled one of my excursions that day because it was just so beautiful and I wanted to spend time with Jason in the beach waters, and it was just a really good time doing a self-controlled roller coaster.
Self-regulated.
Yeah. So we basically got to choose a speed.
Yeah, you can push. It's like a box car with no with brakes. Just imagine a box car or a soapbox car, and you have brakes. And I was responsible for maneuvering the levers for our speed and regulating the speed based on Tiffany's demands.
I'm a chicken when it comes to roller coasters.
Very much a chicken. So,
but
there was not a lot of speed. There's a lot of stopping. And it said...
It wasn't stopping. It was pausing or slowing down.
It says, do not stop on the thing. On the curve, you said, oh, look at that. Stop it.
Anyways, it was beautiful because we were able to see above the island. And now that I reflect back to that rinky-dink roller coaster, I don't know that I would get back on it. As fun as it was, but when you really think about the structure of it...
No, it wasn't very safe.
It wasn't Six Flags material.
No, it wasn't. That's why you don't stop. You just keep going.
Well, that's why we had a liability waiver.
That's why you had a liability. Yes,
but it was beautiful. Sure. It was a very scenic.
I was proud of you for going on that.
Yeah,
I was, because you really don't. You don't get used to it. Well, I was hoping my encouragement and my praise would get you to go back again. No, because you wanted to go back. You was like, let's do it again.
But this is now a few days later when I'm really visualizing this roller coaster, and I'm like, really, this was not the Six Flags material.
Well, of course. Okay.
Yeah, it was, and like you said, it was like a little cart. That's a good way of describing it.
Soapbox car.
So I would say Labadie and San Juan were my top two
places. I have to agree.
And I can't really put one above the other because they were different experiences.
Yeah. I would say for me, Nassau was only a disappointment because of the weather.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see Atlantis. It kind of bummed us
out, and our excursion was canceled, so we really didn't get to do what we was trying to do. And it was just cold and windy and cloudy.
It was really windy.
It wasn't very enjoyable. But St. Thomas was beautiful to me. We went to Sapphire Beach, and I'm surprised she didn't tell y'all this, but I'll embarrass myself. I went snorkeling, folks. And let me just tell you that snorkeling in the reef can be adventurous, but that ocean is a whole new beast. That ocean is... ain't no joke. It's massive, first of all. And when you're looking down and you seeing things fly by, you're like, oh, what the crap is that? Like, I saw a transparent fish, like translucent, right?
Translucent.
Yeah, translucent, not transparent. Sorry. Translucent fish. And that freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see through this fish. Like, it's skeleton and everything. And then there was something else dark that I don't know what it was. And The ground, I can see the sand, and you have to you have to keep your shoulders and your head at a certain level so that the air tube doesn't go underwater, because as soon as it goes underwater, you're sucking in salt water. So I didn't know that. So I was kind of, no, I didn't. I knew that don't get it to that point, but I wasn't cognizant
as you were doing it.
As I was doing it, that the correlation between the distance between my head and the top of the airway, what that measurement was. So gotcha. I really was like, oh, I'm looking down and I'm seeing something. I want to get closer, so I'm naturally moving my neck head down further. As I do that, I get water in my air passage, and I'm sucking in salt water, which is not tasty. And the reason why I looked down was because I was looking down to see what was coming up, because it was kind of cloudy. Of course, it was a sand, but some of it was clear. But it was starting to get dark, so I wanted to see. And I think it was a drop. I think it was a drop, and it freaked me out. I was like, oh, snap. Because when you don't see there's a certain security that comes when you're snorkeling and you can see the ground. Mm-hmm. But when you're snorkeling and you don't see the ground anymore, my sense of security and control just left me. So my head went down, my sense of security went away, and then I started to, take in water, which even made me more panicky, and I started, flopping around like I was a fish out of water, trying to get back to the land.
And I got it all on video. Because I wasn't going to be a sucker and be out there. First of all, I ain't using nobody else's snorkel gear. I haven't even seen them clean it. So, and then with it being COVID and stuff, I just, so I just said, I'm just going to watch. And I watched, and it was a comedy show. And I got it on video if anybody wants to see it.
Don't worry about it. Don't give me your handle or anything like that. That's, that's private. Yeah. I think I deleted it.
Yeah. No, you didn't. But anyways.
Well, okay, so that was St. Thomas. I had my experience, and I was like, I tried to conquer it and try to go back again a second time, and that was a little better.
But we had a good sandwich there. It was a tropical chicken sandwich.
Oh, that was delicious.
It was.
That was the start of our good meals.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. So that was a tropical chicken sandwich. It had a pineapple on it, grilled chicken, and I think bacon. And honey mustard.
And something
And it was
else.
A bun, just a regular bun.
And wasn't there sauce on there?
Honey mustard.
Oh.
That was honey mustard.
Okay.
So it was really good. We shared it because we were just wanted something to hold over because we were going to be heading back to the ship.
You get so mellow. Yeah, it was. And when we got back to the ship, I think that prompted me to be like, where is the good food here?
Yeah.
And that's when we realized, the diner hall where we're supposed to be going, that was really tasty. Mm-hmm. Really, really tasty. But it was like a sit-down dinner type thing. So we didn't know. And then I liked the comedy show that came out there. I was really surprised by entertainment. It was good.
It was good entertainment.
I'll say this. I'm going to skip forward to San Juan, Puerto Rico. The reason why I liked it, because it had a lot of history, and we had a really good excursion and some good food. Oh my gosh. The mofongo. Mofongo?
Mm-hmm, mofongo.
I made my own mofongo. Mofongo.
Just don't try to say it too hard. It'll come out right.
Oh, okay. I just know it had you.
I don't think you know how to spell it, so that's probably part
Putting me on blast again.
That's part of the reason why you can't say it.
I can't visualize it.
MOFO NGO. Mofongo. Yes.
Yeah.
And we had mojitos for the first time, so we tried rum for the first time. We really don't like alcohol. Like, we'll do like the fruity wines with low alcohol content, but that was the first time we tried rum, and we actually bought back some rum.
They'll be alcoholics now.
No, we're not gonna be alcoholics. We're gonna be tasteaholics.
Tasteaholics.
Yeah, we're
That's
just
part
gonna
of
taste it.
Tiffany. But that's one of the reasons why we chose that one, because it was some food. Tiffany's a foodie, of course. She went to the local shops and she was grabbing all kinds of candies and stuff like that. But I like Puerto Rico, San Juan, because of the beauty of the city itself and the history. So I definitely will go back to that one.
Yeah.
And then the next day or 2 days later, a day and a half later, we went to Labadee, Haiti, and
That was beautiful
that was
scenery.
very beautiful scenery, nice beaches. It's owned by the cruise line, so it was very safe. Because Tiffany, what happened when we was booking, getting ready, prepared for our trip? What happened in regards to Haiti?
Yeah, so the embassy called us and literally left a message on my voicemail. So after hearing that, I was like, oh, let me do some research. And that's when I found out the cruise line actually owns an island in Haiti called Labadee, and that it's guarded and gated, and there's no way to have access to the other parts of Haiti that are more dangerous.
Listen, they say guarded. Like when we pulled up, it was the first time I saw a patrol boat
in the water.
With the guys
Multiple.
having heavy artillery.
Yeah, like you could see the gun on the front of the boat. And then while we were on the property, there was a gated section too, and it was guarded. So, but I found that out before we even arrived that it was going to be gated. So I felt good about it. When we signed up for the embassy alerts and stuff, I don't think they listed that island. I think it just said Haiti. With it saying just Haiti, they're just going to take the general term, like you're going to Haiti, like what's going on.
Right. So I can understand why the embassy said that, yeah.
Yeah, but now I have a heart for the people in Haiti because just interacting with them, just knowing, the danger of the place. Yeah, but we bought some things from there and supported the local economy, so we feel good about that. And it's nice, like you said, nice people there.
Yes. So yeah, we bought, and that. Speaking of that, like let's talk about how we handled our spending while there. How did you feel spending money?
Well,
Mrs. Wallet Coach.
Well, we started off the Wallet Coach way and maybe lost our way along the way. And I say that because, prior to going, we set a budget and we said we were going to spend this much. And like a week before, I was with one of my friends and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to buy some stuff on Amazon for the trip, just to have. And she was like, you just now doing this? I was like, yeah. She was like, okay. So like a week before the trip, I'm like ordering all this stuff, sending it back to Amazon, ordering it again, trying to get my right size and everything like that. And I did not at all really consider the cost of the things I needed before the trip. I was just thinking about the trip.
Right.
And in hindsight, a lot of those things I didn't need, especially since it was cooler.
Like 80% of it.
Yeah, so they got a lot of returns, but it was mostly because it was the fit or just didn't look right on me. And so, but there were still some things that I bought that Jason didn't necessarily agree with, but it was beneficial. It was like a traveling humidifier and stuff like that.
And
a neck
cooler,
fan.
A neck fan.
That went out on me somehow. Even after I charged it, it still wasn't really working. But anyways, it was knickknacks like that because I just didn't want to be uncomfortable. And I actually have like a quote unquote allergy to the sun. Like I break out. Some people, my dermatologist says it's eczema. My allergist says it's a sun allergy. Literally a sun allergy. Google it, you'll find out what it is. But basically I get a rash. And so I had to be very particular about what I bought and things that were going to protect my skin. And some of that stuff I could have done without, at least for the first few days.
So did you feel like you could just spend freely, or were you very conscious?
I did. I didn't feel restricted. I was cognizant of the fact like we had this much money, but we unfortunately did not reconcile before we left. So the expenses that I had to prepare for the trip we didn't reconcile it. So I really didn't have a concept of exactly how much, but I knew we had a good amount to where we could spend. I didn't expect to spend as much as we did because I was like, oh, all the food's included, but you know, you don't always want the food that they have. They had a juice and smoothie place, and we frequented that most of the trip, and that was unexpected. And you know, we got things like French fries and stuff like that that wasn't included in our main dining experience. But anyways, you know, we had a budget and didn't track our expenses as we were there. I kind of relied on Jay to kind of like, hey babe, how much do you think we have left? And he's like, oh, we at least got this much. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But there was also some things we just did not include, and we'll talk about that a little later. And so overall, I felt good about our finances as I was there. So it didn't really bother me. I did think about it as I was going. I was like, oh, are we going up against our budget? But Jay was like, oh, no, we're good. We're good.
I thought, see, when you asked me those kind of questions, I think you're like panicking and you're being not closed-minded, but you're kind of restricting yourself. Like, I don't know about this or that.
Yeah, but I think it also helped me know that, and I don't encourage this on an everyday basis, but I knew that even if we were possibly bumping up against our budget for the vacation, I knew we had enough money elsewhere in our account that we could use. So I didn't ever feel like I was spending more than I had.
Right.
Like, I know that I can make adjustments. Like, we have our personal money and some other areas in the budget that hadn't even been spent and didn't necessarily have to be spent this month either.
It's like, for me, honestly, it definitely came across, having a budget helps, but sometimes, not sometimes, but honestly, I didn't think about it. I knew that we had a ceiling, but I didn't realize how easy it was to disregard the ceiling when you're on the cruise ship itself.
Yeah.
And everything's tied to your credit card already.
Yeah.
And they give you what's called like a C pass, and you're not paying with like your card. You're paying, or with cash. You're paying with the C pass, and so
it's like a charge card, pretty much.
It's pretty much like you just place it down, you tap it, it charges it. And it's not like you can go, I mean, they say you can go on the app and see your charges, but you're not really thinking it like that.
Yeah, you're like,
just like, oh, go. Oh, how much? Like, I'm pretty sure there were at least 5 transactions that I didn't even care how much it cost. And you even called me out on it. You was like, do you know how much it costs to get that? I was like, I don't really know. I just know I just got it. Right? Like, especially our last meal. Like, that one, we spent a little too much on that last meal.
Yeah, we were a little gluttonous, and that's actually something that kind of came out of that trip. I was cautious about not being gluttonous, but I think the variety of choices made it harder for me to narrow down my choices when I was paying for dining experiences on the cruise. And so, like, our last meal, we got 24 wings, a burger, fries, and a dessert. And it was like, why did we get 24 wings and a burger? It was because I wanted fries, and I couldn't justify fries being $3 and the burger and fries being $9. I was like, what's the extra $6? But we ended up wasting the wings, and the wings were so good. But anyways,
it's funny to me that you went down that route, because when I looked at the cost, it just wasn't calculating. It just, I can see how people overspend, because the gluttonous part of it, you want to experience, and you don't want to stop the ride.
Yeah. You
don't want to stop the ride. You want to get it all.
It's euphoria.
And you want to have it all.
Yeah.
And you don't have that that takeaway of you spending your money by giving them cash or using your own card, for one instance. So it was really tempting to just disregard and just swipe, or tap. And I felt that, wow. The last day when I finally got the bill back, I was like, oh, okay. Well, and once we finally reconciled, we actually end up meeting our budget I think we're
No,
we're gonna be over.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
we got still like
Well, this is the
5
thing. Those
categories
receipts,
left.
the
You got 5
the
categories.
shopping I did before.
Well, hold that. Before let me finish the thought. Let me finish this thought.
Okay.
Yeah, let me. But I'm sorry, folks. I'm just gonna say, it was a really good. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't have did that to Tiffany. It just cut her off. Because now I forgot what I was gonna say.
See.
Go ahead, Tiff.
Receipts that I had before we went on a trip are misplaced.
Gone, right.
So we have these transactions between 5 and 10, no more than 10 transactions, and I'm like, I have no idea what I spent, and they were all the same day, so they are probably all collected somewhere together, and I just can't remember where I placed them. And so more than likely all those or most of those transactions have to do with the cruise. And
that will put us over. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple items that we didn't use that I'm going to return. So we'll still probably end up slightly over our budget, but I still have personal money left, and you have personal money and birthday money left. So we won't go over budget. We won't go over budget in the sense of,
so we're going to pull from other categories.
Yeah, if we have to, because some of the things I bought were like some sundresses, and I ended up not packing them, but I want to keep them. So it's kind of like, they're mine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to keep them, and I'll just use my own money.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, using your own money, that credit card thing, man, really, you have to be disciplined, because I felt the undisciplinedness of just using someone else's money to just go to get the experience and keep it flowing. And I realized how easy it is to walk away with debt.
That's interesting, because I didn't feel that way. I really, even though we use a credit card, I'm always tying it back to our budget. Like, how much did we budget? So I was still thinking, like, okay, we budgeted this much. Even though I didn't know the number, I was still like thinking, I don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah, right. So the budget kept us free to spend, but also knew, because we had a top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had a top. So so that definitely helps. But with those, if you don't have a budget and you got a credit card, I can see how you go on vacations and you come back with a couple $1,000s that you're like, I'll pay for it later. I'll work a little extra more hours. Because that literally came to my mind. It's like, oh, yeah, well, I can do some little overtime to extra get this.
Yeah, that's not how I was thinking. There was no consideration that way, but everybody's different.
Well, overall, for me, I would definitely do it again. I would go again. Would you go again?
I'm still on the fence. The reason I say that is because there were times I was actually bored. And Jason would notice. He was like, you seem bored. I was like, yeah. And it's because part of it is, while I experienced some of the activities, I didn't necessarily feel like I wanted to be around a lot of noise. And I was okay with having some quiet and just eating my food. Going out to the deck once in a while to, soak in
some sun.
Well, not even necessarily the sun, just soak in the scenery. And yes, I was fine with that. And I just got tired of seeing the same things and getting confused on getting confused on what's the front of the boat, the back of the boat. I just got confused. There's too many times I was going up and down elevators trying to figure out, okay, where am I supposed to go? But the food was great. They actually had unlimited pizza, which was the highlight of our trip.
My goodness.
I think pizza really may be my top food. I thought French fries was it, but I ate more pizza there than ever, and I never got tired of it.
That is a talking about gluttonous. That is such a great, tempting, unlimited pizza. Like, literally, you can go to the counter and say, hey, I want 2 cheese slices, and you can go out and come back into the line and get 2 more
all day.
It's like
there's people who did like 8 slices.
It's like a carousel. You just keep going round and round and round.
And those pizzas would just be popping out, 3 or 4 types, just
There
popping
was
out.
there was numerous times we started to have a routine. Like around 10 o'clock, we were like after our meal was done and we walked around and did some shopping. We were like, want some pizza? Yeah, let's go get some
Let's
pizza.
get some pizza. We would get 2 slices. I
And
couldn't.
they
I couldn't
had
bring
a
myself to bring the
they
3.
had a specialty every night.
Yeah, they switched out. They kept the basics, but they added a different one
Yeah.
every night. And so we tried like a Caribbean one, like basically like pineapple and barbecue sauce and I think bacon. It was really, really good. So, I mean, if I did it again, I would, after 3 or 4 days of any vacation, I'm ready to come back to Atlanta. Like, I love Atlanta. And so around 3 or 4 days, I was like thinking about Atlanta. Like, okay, I'm going back to my normal type of routine, mentally at least. And so I started writing things down that I wanted to do when I get back. But I think I also want a destination. Like when we came back to Miami after the cruise, we stayed for a day. And I just enjoyed being able to kind of just chart my own course and see what I wanted to see for that day versus kind of being dictated based on the port that we're going off of or, being on the cruise itself, on the ship itself. So I just feel like maybe I want a destination one where I can just explore as I please and, have as much food as I want to, like going to different restaurants. They had restaurants on the ship, yeah, but I think that's what I prefer. But if I did another cruise, it would be more than likely like a 5-day and kind of go from, just do a 5-day. The scenery was beautiful.
Absolutely. It was very, God made a beautiful world.
Yeah, especially the moon setting over the water. Oh my gosh, we got pictures for that.
There's so many different there's so many different areas I loved on the ship. They have a jogging path, and if you wake up early in the morning,
and ice cream.
And well, that too. You wake up early, you go off the path, and it overlooks the water. So beautiful. Another part that I like was it called? Solarium. The solarium area was more adultish and quiet.
Yeah.
That was a great relaxing spot. It was, for me, I love the experience. I would do it again. I love that we went on this experience because I know what we like more. Definitely Tiffany, like she said, likes destinations. She likes being secluded and just charting her own path, but also just not being around a lot of people, basically.
No, it's not necessarily. Well, I'm not a huge fan of being around a lot of people, but that I more so equate it to just noise. Like they were always playing music on the cruise.
Yeah, that's true.
And all this other stuff. I'm just like, can we just turn off the music
and just be silent?
Just be silent. I guess I could have went to the library, but that would have been too quiet. But I guess you can't have everything.
So.
That's where I think I liked it. I would like a river
segments.
Cruise.
That's what it was like. Segments. You can have the noise, but hey, 8:00. Let's stop having the noise.
Yeah, but that's why I really enjoyed. Like the one thing I noticed on the cruise was the things that I didn't think I would enjoy. I enjoyed. So like they had a guitar performance, and it was so beautiful. It was like in the courtyard. It was so beautiful, and then they did like a ice show.
They had an ice skating rink on the boat.
Yes. And before that, we did silent disco. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. Where you have headphones on, you have 2 notches. One plays certain songs, and the other notch plays other songs. And you can look at other people's headphones to see the color on their headphones, and that shows you which notch they're listening to. So somebody may be listening to hip hop and another person may be listening to country, but everybody's like dancing and singing, but you're kind of in your own world in a sense too. That was like one of the highlights of my trip was doing that. But I wanted quiet, but I also wanted noise sometimes because like with the music there, and I wanted to do the DJ nightclub thing on Saturday night, but every time I said I wanted to do something like that, 2 hours before that even started, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to bed. So I think I mentally wanted it, but my body was like, I'll catch up to you one day.
Listen, I'm not gonna continue to crack on you like that. I'm sorry. But it seemed like you was just getting older. You was like, I don't want to hear the noise. Like
but I've been that way
granny
a long time. Like I need my silence.
Yeah, and I do. As far as the timeline, I did get bored or get what they call cabin fever around day 5. I was like, all right, I'm ready to get off this ship. Only because our freaking room was so small, felt like a cave, and I had no light. I couldn't get any orientation of what day was
yeah, we would wake up at like 9 o'clock. We were like, it's dark, but the clock says it's 9. And we're not used to that because in our house, even though we have like blackout curtains, we have some sense of knowing, if it's light outside, at least once we walk outside of our bedroom. But it's a little harder on a ship to know.
Well, that's why I like to say that my next trip, I will definitely be in a bigger room that has sunlight.
Yes.
I can tell what day it is, orientation of things. So I will say shorter, yes. Not 3 days, somewhere between 5 and 7. Different, and still keep up the stuff. And we just know what we like now. We just know what we like. Mm-hmm. So what would we tell other people? What would we advise others if they're going to go on this trip as far as selecting a vacation, budgeting for a vacation, and enjoying the vacation?
Think about who you are first. Like, if you're more of a introverted person like me, then you may not want to go on a cruise. Or if you go on a cruise, you want to select a cruise that is not necessarily known for partying or having a lot of activities.
It's just literally cruising.
Yeah, just literally cruising, which is why the river cruise appealed to me. But Jason wanted more activity, and
I thought I did.
Yeah, he thought he did, but guess what? I have so many pictures of him sleeping, and I'm just looking at him like, really? Like,
that's on my vacation. You asked me in the beginning. But
you chose that particular boat because of all the activities, and you barely took part.
I wanted variety.
You barely took part.
I wanted options.
You barely took part in the activities. Boat, yes. So I think we both now know that we just want rest and relaxation. So know who you are and plan based on that. And if you have to get a travel agent, get a travel agent to help fine-tune what would work for you. When you are planning, also consider your budget, how much you will have by the certain time that you need to book it. We booked it a month in advance, and we still got a good deal through Costco Travel.
Shout out to Costco Travel. It was really a good setup.
Yeah, so we did Costco Travel, and they booked our plane to and from Atlanta and Miami. They also included our transportation to and from the airport and the port. And they also included the hotel and then the cruise.
And we didn't have to think about it. Like, all we had to do was just say, we're going on this cruise. And they gave us options of, hey, you want your hotel lodging? You want to stay a couple of days? We selected where we wanted to stay. But they set up the timing. Like, that was beautiful. They set up the timing. Or did you set up the timing with the ground transportation?
Well, you had already decided which flight you wanted us to be on.
Right.
Based on your schedule, your work schedule.
Right.
So we were able to just tell them. But otherwise, they would have asked us if we wanted one nonstop or what day we wanted to come, et cetera, et cetera.
I just thought it was very good.
Yeah.
I was very shocked. I was very pleased.
And with us traveling, to unknown territories, we definitely didn't want to feel like we had to do that much because we didn't want to do anything wrong. So I would still use a travel agent company or person in the future just to kind of be more hands-off like we were this round. And in terms of just, like I said, preparing financially for it and having the money and time for booking. And then, of course, if there's some time between booking and when you're actually going, you can continue to save up. But one thing that I would say is the main takeaway for me is, and we didn't do this, and we usually do this when we go on vacations, is breaking down our budget into categories. So we may say that, for instance, we have $1,000 that we're going to spend. Break it down into categories such as food, clothing, entertainment, toiletries, transportation, gifts, miscellaneous, and tips. So tips and transportation were the two things that I did not think about to the degree that I wanted to do in retrospect. I didn't break it down we didn't break it down at all. And tips, we ended up using our tip money towards our cruise charge card instead of using our credit card. And so that ate away at that, and we shouldn't have done that in hindsight. And so we weren't able to tip extra. We paid for the gratuity package, but we weren't able to pay extra for our room attendant, and we weren't able to
the people
really
that we
tip.
thought deserved it.
Yeah. And this was towards the end of our trip, so that kind of sucked because we're giving people, and we wanted to be able to show our appreciation for them. And then the transportation, I'm a foodie, so I like to go to different restaurants. And so when we were in Miami, I didn't think about, oh, we need an Uber ride to this restaurant and also back, and possibly give tips. So I wish I had thought about that, and I think we would have had the money to tip. So that's what I would have done.
I would say for people, my advice would be that when you're going into it, when you're considering a budget for your vacation, be realistic and inclusive of realistic with the types of activities that you're going to do and what you're going to spend your money on. Like with the tips, totally forgot about the tips. I mean, they told us about the tips, but we didn't allocate it as best as we really should have. But having I wouldn't necessarily break down to all the categories that Tiffany listed, but if that's your priority, that's how your mind works, go ahead and do it. But most of all, I would definitely say have a budget, have a top on what you're going to spend, and make sure that top includes all the activities that you plan to do or where you spend your money, so that you can. My next point is to be flexible. Be flexible with with your time. Be flexible with the people, because anything can happen, circumstances for COVID and all that stuff, and be flexible with your environment and being flexible with yourself, because to really enjoy a vacation like that, to me, you have to be completely flexible with your timeline, your time management, and just kind of go with the flow. And that's the best time you can relax for me. That's what a vacation is for, relaxing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, relax. Enjoy it. Definitely do a budget. Our big vacation was a success to me.
Yeah, I think overall we did really good, and we learned how cruises work, because that was, even though, for instance, our food was taken care of by the cruise, you may not necessarily want what they offered, or you may not have been hungry at the time, and so you ended up eating later or earlier than when they're open.
Yeah, that was the second part. Their dinner times were
appropriate. It's just, if we, for instance, skipped breakfast, lunch may not have started right when we were hungry.
Sure.
But there were, and then there was times we just, like I said, didn't really necessarily want what they were serving, so we went and got wings, for instance, and that was something I didn't anticipate spending our money on unless we were at the actual destinations we were going to. I didn't expect to really spend money on the boat. like with food, and even
that's true.
even the things, the merchandise we bought. I didn't expect to buy 3 purses and jewelry. Like, I didn't even know they had that on there. And so those types of things were learning experiences for us. And now I know to consider those types of things. And we didn't plan on buying gifts for people or even really bringing anything back to the degree that we did.
Yeah.
So it was a learning experience. And I'm, overall, I think we did good with a budget, knowing what we knew and doing what we did. And at the end of the day, we'll probably end up about $100 or so over budget in the vacation category, but that's going to be absorbed, with other categories like our personal spending that we hadn't even touched this month. So overall, I feel good about it. I'm not going to beat myself about it. It's happened. There's nothing I can do about the costs. The bill will get paid on time.
That's true. We got it. We got the money.
Yeah.
So would you do another 10 years with me?
Of course.
All right, people. That is our podcast for today. No, I agree with you. Have fun. Try the best way to be wise with your money. The best way to do that is to plan ahead and to have boundaries, because boundaries are good. They're not just always restrictive. They tell you how you can play within the boundaries as freely as you want.
Yeah.
When you don't have boundaries, you just don't know where the end is.
Yeah.
So, again, be flexible. So that's our trip. We literally fresh off the boat. Like, we just landed like 2 days ago or 3 days ago, or something like that. So we're still getting acclimated.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the terminology fresh off.
I know you wouldn't use it. I know, but I'm more controversial than you are.
Yeah.
But I use that on purpose, for point of reference, because we're fresh off the boat.
Gotcha, Jason.
Yes.
And we do not have a tan, I don't think, because we
No,
tried
we're
to
black.
avoid. No, it's not about being black, because you can still get a tan, silly. It's more so we use sunscreen, and we weren't trying to be sunburned or anything like that. And then, like I said, it wasn't
50.
necessarily. Yeah, but then also we weren't necessarily trying to. We weren't necessarily having the best of weather the first few days.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
So.
True. But I would say this last thing. The weather did get a lot better towards the end.
Thursday.
It was ideal weather. And the boat stopped rocking around day 4.
Yeah.
So through day 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it was still it was really like sunny, clear skies, blue water.
Yeah.
Barely moving. You didn't know that you was moving on a boat. So that's the norm. And I was like, oh, okay, this is good. If this happened the whole time, this would have been even better trip.
Yeah.
So, all right.
But at least we experienced the worst, and to some degree, in terms of the boat moving and stuff like that, and it being cold, and because we were able to, I think, appreciate when it did become nice and sunny.
Yeah, we did.
And warm.
And I got a chance to be with you.
Yes, honey.
That's right. Anyway.
Get over here cheesing.
So to another 10 years, we'll come back again and give you the inside scoops on another 10 years. But we wanted to share that with you guys. And I hope you got something out of it, enjoyed it. And if you did, leave us a comment. Give us a like on wherever you listen to your podcast, your favorite podcast, and reach out to us. You can reach out to us at, Jason at thewalletcoach.com. And I just realized we don't have a podcast email address. We need to probably get that.
You can just reach out to us on social media.
So anyway, no matter what you do, folks, be sure to just remember that it doesn't matter how much you make. It's about what you do with what you make. Even on vacation, you make the most of anything. So, change your mind, change your wallet, change your life. This is your boy Jason Alexander with his wife Tiffany Alexander, signing out. Peace.
Bye.